Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. So, let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And a little short on topics this week, but I don't know, best laid plans of mice and men and all that, so feel free to comment down below. Alright, so these are the pens and inks that I've been using this week. I have, from left to right, Lamy 2000. Yes, she's back! Aurora 88, which surprisingly still has ink in it. The Opera, gotta read its new name, Gold Point number 1, which I still think of as an Opera Elements Air. A Waterman Karan, Senator Silver Fox, because I don't know what its model number is. I have a Lamy Safari, Geha 714 Futura, Geha 722, a Nakaya Decopod is back, and the Columbus 65, which also surprisingly still has inks in it. So let's see how these write. On this note, I don't know if I'm allowed to say who this is from, but a viewer and fellow YouTuber sent me this. It's a piece of felt. And this to use as a backdrop. So with how Pens in Use works, I don't really need them. But when I do reviews and such, I can see where they'd be a lot more useful. So I will experiment, see what this does to exposure and how the camera looks and how the pen looks and so on. As always, although I've been told I should get a notebook with better paper, but whatever, here it is. I am going to use my Cognitive Surplus with the seafood cover. Out of curiosity, do people eat this kind of seafood? I'm just thinking, I can't think of anything people do with starfish cooking-wise. I know sea urchins, but something for me to research that all of a sudden came to my weird random brain. Okay, I'm seeing one problem with the positioning of this light already, which is it wants to go fall into my lap as I pull this notebook closer. But anyway, first pen is a Lamy 2000. Oops. So, Bauhaus design, very, very functional, very businesslike. A semi-hooded nib. And it seems when I first fill it to also have a lot of condensation around the section, and then after it's been used for a while, that goes away. So not sure why, but if I do a re-review of it, that's something I feel like I should mention. Okay, not liking writing around this light. So this one has a fine point nib. So Alright, so the ink in it. I had a talk with in the comments with several viewers who remarked on it's weird how we discover we don't like an ink. So of course, most of us have perfectly functional sinks in our houses, but what do we do instead? We just try to write with it till we get rid of it. And guess what I'm doing? So this is Callifolio Noir. Not an objectionable black, I just like other ones better. Noir. Like Lamy, Pelikan, Parker. Those are kind of my preferred blacks. Aurora probably should be on that list, but I haven't written a whole lot with Aurora Black to really get a good feel for it. I feel like it's more feathery on low quality paper than some of the others I listed there, but like I said, I haven't written with it in a long time. Maybe when I use up this Noir, I'll whip out the Aurora. Speaking of Auroras, here's an Aurora 88. Beautiful. One of my favorite vintage pen models. Inspired actually by the Parker 51. I saw several of the reviewers are now doing videos on the modern Parker 51. I've been asked, are you going to get one? Not right now. There's just not enough about the pen to really excite me. This pen is dry. The ink is dried out a little on the nib. This is a lot darker than it's supposed to be. So I was writing with it mostly at the beginning of the week. Last couple of days I haven't really had much time for recreational writing. So it's sat and it's had a chance to dry out. So you'll see that with a lot of these pens. Not the Lamy 2000, because of course that's been my daily writer pen. This pen is actually kind of a nice daily writer pen, but I don't use it for that because it's so much fun to write with. But really, it was designed as a writer, and it just happens to also be a lot of fun for that. This next pen, of course, is the Visconti Opera Gold Point number 1, which I prefer to think of it as a Opera Elements Air, but I don't get to name the pen, so unscrew it. Still like writing with it, though. Visconti Opera Gold Point number 1. I just recently refilled it with some Colorverse. Jupiter Flyby. I managed to empty out the bottle of this. And guess what I received in the mail today? Or yesterday. One of the packages was a new bottle of Jupiter Flyby. So somebody broke up their set of 4 inks, so I need to thank them for that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to publicly thank them, but anyway, I owe them a thank you for that, because I'd have a hard time giving up this ink. And I'll just give you a bottle. Well, I'd want to keep it for myself. Let's see, where is it? Oh, just out of reach over there, so I won't reach for it. But anyway, so thank you for that. You'll get a written thank you, hopefully in Jupiter Flyby, if I remember to do that. But thank you. You know who you are. This is my Waterman Karan. I've always liked, just kind of an understated finish on it, but I really like it. I could have bought this in black, and there's a couple other finishes, but no, I wanted this one. So this is a Waterman Karan. I guess they don't call them Watermans anymore, but I've got that habit from vintage. Carène. I think the slash goes that way. And I have on it a broad nib, which was a little challenging to find. But they're out there if you look enough. Mostly you can buy the pen just with either a medium or a fine nib, which I had bought it with a medium. But I found just a broad Carène nib for sale, so I jumped at it. The ink is Diamine, Skull and Roses, which is a very nice sheening ink, except not on this paper. As several people pointed out, this paper is kind of absorbent. So, when you're trying to show off a nice sheen or something, not on this paper you don't. And sometimes the ink even soaks through this paper. Now, last week's pens in use did not soak through anywhere. Let's see how this week's pens... Oh, actually this week's has been pretty good too. Maybe the paper's getting better as I go through the notebook. And I like the company. I want to keep buying from them. And their paper isn't horrible. I mean, it's not paper that I would write home about. This is a Senator Silver Fox, because I don't know its real model number. I think this is just an astonishingly well-made pen, and I love writing with it. It's a good daily writer type of pen. Not a pen that you're going to show off an ink. It's a pen you're going to write with. And so Senator Silver Fox. The George Clooney of my pen collection, apparently. Somebody said that in comments one week. Pelikan 4001 Royal Blue. This pen has gone to work, not this week, because there's it's a pen you haven't seen yet that has been going to work with me this week because I just filmed a first impressions of it, and I wanted to, new toy, I want to write with it. But now I have another new toy that arrived this week. It's a Geha. It's a student pen, but I'm excited to play with it. So, I may quick cheat and do the writing part of its video anyway today. Another thing I want to do, because I've been promising it, I want to film a video today or tomorrow about these two little guys. Cute little Centro Pens. I haven't inked them up yet, but you'll notice they're both olive green. I bought one because it was sold as gray, but it was olive green. Oh, they're subtly different. And I've got another of this model because I wanted the gray finish. But one thing I noticed about these two, see if you can see that. The one on this side has a Bach nib. The one on this side has an Isco nib. And I've always liked the Bach vintage nibs. So I just put the wrong cap on the one. It does not. And how do I know it's the wrong cap? Because it would not screw on. Now I'm curious what the other cap does on the... Okay, the Isco one, or the one from the Bach pen goes on the Isco with no problem. Interesting. Something I never would have thought to try when I was planning out this video. So anyway, and then I've got another one of that model, just in a different color, so I'll be able to do some comparing. All right, my address pen for addresses that don't wash off envelopes lately has been the Lamy Safari. This is a pen I'd been thinking about selling, and I find myself not really falling in love with it, but it is like perfect for filling with a bulletproof ink and using to address envelopes. And a little bit of writing here and there too, of course. So this is Noodlers Red Fox. Or it's just Fox. And it's a small bottle, so as a bonus, as I use this bottle up, I will have one less bottle in my collection. And, not that it's a bad ink. It's just not one I'm particularly planning to replace. I guess it's some kind of a chemical achievement to make a bulletproof red ink. And he has a bulletproof green ink, too, that I've never tried. But I think it's called Hunter, but I won't swear to it. And I guess that's supposed to be a bit of an achievement, too. Well, I guess if you're curious about inks, there's a channel right now called An Ink Guy who does a video every day on different inks. And he has very standardized tests for them. And I don't watch every day because some days I'm busy and some days I'm just like, I don't care about that ink at all. But if you want to know about an ink, there's a very good chance that he has reviewed it because it goes back several years. And then there was another ink channel at one time called Vita something that she hasn't done any ink videos lately, but she used to be very in-depth also. All right, my next pen is the Geha Futura 714. This has a Steno nib, and I don't know, it's just a very 70s looking pen. And I like the understated branding on it. Just a nice looking pen. And then, we're leaking a little around the nibby wibby. This was filled with a cartridge. Cartridge. This little thing, the Geha I just bought doesn't come with this, but this is a nice little device for holding a spare cartridge in your pen. Of course, good luck finding new-made Geha pens or cartridges. So grab onto the vintage ones. So this is a Geha Futura 714 with a Steno nib. And the ink in it is Iroshizuku. Another bottle that's getting glow. Shizuku. And I like this ink too. Yu-yake. So maybe when I feel that my ink collection is more realistic, this might be one that I will add to my ink collection again. For now, I'm just happy to empty another bottle of ink. So that's one of the reasons you've been seeing this one a lot. That, and I like it. So I will be a little sad when I use it up. My next pen is also a Geha. It's not a Futura, and I think it's older, so that may be why it's not a Futura. But anyway, this is a Geha 722. This is a piston filler. Also slip cap. I think the only screw cap Geha I have is the Geha Boy, which is a 1950s student pen. This one, oops, see I need to rotate the nib a bit, because this has a nice oblique broad nib. I don't know if you can tell, but this is part of why I like this camera, is I can get close-ups. So this is a Geha 722 with an oblique broad nib in it, and the ink in it is Iroshizuku. Another one that I'm enjoying, and not nearly so low. Iroshizuku, I gotta look up the spelling, Murasaki-shikibu. Which is apparently in honor of a Shikibu, there we go, which is apparently in honor of a Japanese poet, a lady poet. And I think that's a nice color to honor somebody. I find it very attractive. Originally, when I reviewed this pen, I had my Sailor Wisteria colored ink in it. And I don't know, somehow I just associate this pen, I know it's black, but I associate this pen with purplish colored inks. I'm sure it will be just fine if I put a different color in it, but doggone, purple is what I think of with that pen. When I saw it before I even bought it, I thought, that's a pen for a purple ink. And I got it and I inked it up with purple, because back then I wasn't doing my first impressions with Parker Quink washable blue. I've got several pens floating around right now who are filled with Parker Quink washable blue because I've been doing some first impressions. And, you know, that Geha that arrived will probably be inked up with... What do you think? I gotta see, though, if I have an empty cartridge, because I feel like that may be why I didn't review it yesterday, now that I think about it. This is my Nakaya Decopod Twist. And I just want to show off the beautiful urushi. At the time I bought it, this was the most expensive pen I ever bought. Now that I think about it, it may still be the most expensive pen I ever bought. So, once again, thank you, everybody who's viewed this. You are the reason I get advertising dollars, and at my teacher's salary, I would never think about a pen like this. When the money is extra, which is how I view the advertising dollars, I feel free to splurge. Did an extra splurge this summer, or this winter, when the camera went boop, and I had to buy a new one, but we're not going to talk about that. We're on happy topics, like how happy this pen makes me. I even got it, the word squirrel, which I know it's a Japanese pen. I wanted the Chinese word for squirrel because I've been trying to learn Chinese, although this winter that's taken a big hit because of the whole free time thing. But anyway, this is the Nakaya Decopod Twist. I've got an arrangement with a pen pal. I don't think he's much of a viewer of my channel. He thinks my videos are kind of boring. But anyway, I got an arrangement with the pen pal that if either of us ever gets rich, we're going to buy each other a Eversharp. I think it's called a Decopod. Is that right? Anyway, that's our arrangement. If either of us gets rich, we'll buy one for ourselves and for the other person. So, not too much rich happening here, so hopefully it happens on his end. So this is an Akkerman, Groenmarkt. Have to ask Stephen Brown for the correct pronunciation of this. Let me make sure I spell it right. Groenmarkt, Smaragd. Comes from another country I would like to visit, but I have this huge list of countries I'd like to visit, so don't know how likely it is, but the Netherlands is definitely on that list. Top of that list, believe it or not, so maybe I should be learning Spanish instead of Chinese, is Uruguay. Sometimes in my extreme fantasies of retirement, I think, don't move back east, move to Uruguay and retire. I just think it's a beautiful country, and what I've read about the culture is really appealing. And I don't know why, but for years I've just had a fascination with the country. So at least I've got to visit it. And definitely have to visit China, although I'm a little scared of their government, so who knows if that'll happen. But yeah, so maybe maybe Spanish should be on my next language to learn list. Or Italian, so I find out what the Italians who visit here are saying about me. Because I kind of have to guess by context. So this is, forgot to show the pen. Speaking of Italians, this is an Italian pen. This is a Columbus 65. Kind of, I guess, their last hurrah at making really nice pens. Is it named in honor of Christopher Columbus or somebody better? Christopher Columbus, as it turns out, is not such a great guy. So this is a Columbus 65, and the ink in it is Iroshizuku. Ama-iro. Which is just a very nice sky blue type of color. And I have a few bottles of inks that are this color. So again, why, Squirrel? Why did you buy so many inks, especially with related colors? And I don't know. I went a little crazy for a few years. Luckily, this is one of their 15 milliliter bottles, so I think I can empty it out. But in the meantime, there it is. All right, so that was the pens and inks I've been using this week. Happy to have that Nakaya out again. I haven't used it in a while, I realized, and it was a good reminder how much I like the soft, fine nib that Platinum makes. So, yeah, that was kind of fun. In other exciting news, this has been, you saw this week we have a new channel sponsor. Big Vintage Pen is now sponsoring the Wasky Squirrel channel. I'm hoping I can get a discount code or something, but, published it on April 1st. Just in case that isn't clear, that was an April Fool's joke. I'm always afraid, do they know I'm joking? So, yeah, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. I'll put a link to it down below. I spent a lot of time thinking about it and had to edit together a lot of different footage to make all the different pen problems. Actually, just before I started filming this morning, I was watching Roberto Blake. He's a YouTuber who talks a lot about, YouTubing. I've learned a lot from his channel about this. In fact, I'm kind of in an awkward spot in the room, but he's why I've got this light on back here. He's had some suggestions about dressing up a set. Sorry, not a site. So, excuse me. But anyway, he had a nice interesting. I shouldn't say nice. It was an interesting video this morning about the dislike button. Well, you can see it probably below this video if YouTube hasn't removed it. The dislike button, because apparently YouTube is considering removing the dislike video or button underneath videos, which, okay. You know, I'm always guaranteed 1 or 2 dislikes. If I say something controversial, I may get 3 or 4 dislikes. Usually that's about it that I get for dislikes, but I don't care. It's a way to express displeasure or whatever, but what I didn't know is how that button actually can be weaponized. Yeah, it's a weapon. So apparently you can buy dislikes for other people's videos. So you just hire some bot to go in and pop a bunch of dislikes on somebody else's video. Well, why would you do that? Well, apparently a lot of your views, I mean, I have almost 5,000 subscribers, but you'll notice none of my videos have 5,000 views. What happens is a lot of your viewers are actually new people who've just popped in for the first time. And when they see a horrible like to dislike ratio, they're like, no, not going to bother with that one. And so that's how the dislike button gets weaponized. And it's a way to silence voices, silence criticism. You know, maybe Ford buys dislikes for a Chevy video just to silence them, you know, as an example. I'm not saying that they do. So, wow, did not know that was a thing. So, Roberto Blake's suggestion was some kind of an emoji system rather than like and dislike. And I have to say, I thought that was kind of clever. Because I've watched videos before where, you know, very well done. Like, every so often I will share Godless Cranium's video on the Indian day schools up in Canada. And very well done video about a topic that I feel strongly about. But I can't put a like on that. And I know I should separate the subject matter from how well done it is and everything. But yeah, I just can't like anything about Indian day schools, because what a horrific way the people who were in this country first and Canada first were treated. And, you know, so some kind of emoji system might be a little bit better. And you always kind of wonder, you know, when you see a lot of dislikes on a review of a vintage pen, are they because I was boring? Are they because they don't like fountain pens? Are they just random, I'm going to hit dislike. I'm going to hit dislike because I always dislike Wasky Squirrel's videos. You know, you don't know. Maybe it's a student that regularly hits dislike. Oh, get Mr. Squirrel this way. You don't know. So, yeah, I could see some value in that. You know, the likes are kind of validating. And apparently there's some emotional damage from dislikes. I guess I'm not that sensitive. I am sensitive to valid criticism, but I'm not really all that sensitive, because you can't be a teacher if you're sensitive, because, well, the kids and the parents will eat you alive. But, I don't know, that was interesting, and it just, like, as I'm setting up for this, I'm watching that, and more watching that than setting up for this, so, it was that interesting. So, yeah, I'd suggest giving it a watch if you're interested in that topic. I will freely concede that the ins and outs of YouTube are not a topic for everybody. In other interesting news this morning, for the main topic I've got, I ran across an article, where was it? Oh, Valley News Live. So they're located in, I can't remember if Jamestown or Valley City, but anyway, news channel there. They had an article on their website that was about a restaurant called Luna in Fargo, where I've never been to Luna. It sounds like it's nice. But anyway, they have 2 single-stall bathrooms in their restaurant, so they, a couple of years ago, just put up signs that are like half male, half female that just said, whichever. And that's a good way of freeing up bathroom space, because really, if it's a single-stall bathroom, does it matter at all what flavor it is? No. So, but anyway, some guy sent them a nasty email, because apparently he claims to have been going there for years, and saw the signs and says he will never be back, and his date didn't feel safe, and he'll never bring any of his clients, and he'll never recommend them, and he'll never let any of his colleagues recommend them either. And so Luna had a nice response to it, and they made it all public, so I thought that was kind of fun. Because really, I don't care what side you're on the transgender bathroom thing. Single stall bathroom, who cares? In our high school, we have single stall bathrooms available for teachers. And guess what? There's no signs on them. And we've both been guilty of using the other one when we need to get back to class in a hurry. So, it's just a thing. It's just custom, I guess, which one is which. So, I just found that interesting. So, the main topic tonight or today, whatever. I'm a little late filming this. So, Thursday I had big plans. Or Friday, I'm going to get up to Medora. I'm going to go travel around. We're going to do a Pens on the road, and I'm going to walk around Medora before tourist season starts. And I was even thinking about taking a drive around the park. And then Thursday evening happened. So what happened is kind of a tragedy, but at the same time could have been a lot worse. They had a serious wildfire in Medora. In fact, the city of Medora, which isn't really that big, it's 150 people during the off season, was entirely evacuated because of this wildfire. Now, if you don't know North Dakota, you don't know that Medora is our big claim to fame. It's our big tourist spot. It's it's a big deal for North Dakota. A lot of historic stuff there. Teddy Roosevelt ranched there. In fact, his home, if you want to call it that, is there. There's a very famous Chateau de More, which was one of his best friends had built. They were both doing ranching stuff. There's an amphitheater there where they do a musical almost every night during the summer. There's all kinds of historic buildings downtown, and like I said, all the tourist infrastructure. The North Dakota Cowboy Museum is there. There's another amazing museum in the old courthouse. It's just, there's a lot there. And it came to the edge of town. Now, luckily, no one was injured. Sorry, the computer's falling asleep. No one was injured, which, we can all be thankful for that. But a lot of damage, mostly to grassland. I have an article I pasted on this morning. A rancher has lost about half of his grazing land, which this year is a serious drought year. So, losing your grazing land when it's not going to be that good anyway is a big deal. So, I don't know what he'll do. It's tough to be a rancher in these situations. I could never be a rancher or a farmer and have my income at the whims of luck like that. Or a year or two or three or more of bad weather. Couldn't do it. But anyway, so he's doesn't know what he's going to do. They're saying now about 3,000 acres were burned, which is much smaller than they were originally estimating. It did come to the edge of the city. Governor Burgum has toured the area, I guess, yesterday on Friday. And, I thought about going up to Rubberneck, but I feel like maybe wait a day or two more, let the emergency workers get everything dealt with, and, let the people there have a little peace. So I may not rubberneck at all. Who knows? Maybe I'll go up next weekend because it should all be out, and then I can do the thing I wanted to do this weekend. I don't know. So I do want to get out this weekend. I'm just going to go out somewhere else. So anyway, Friday rolled around, and I thought, well, I guess I won't do that. So I was going to do a walking tour with the cell phone around just town. I had somebody buy my Lamy Dialogue 3, so I had to mail that off. And I was mailing off, what was the other thing? Something else. And I had some packages to pick up at the post office. 2 of them were actually fountain pens. And low-cost fountain pens, don't worry. I bought my expensive 2 pens for the year. But anyway, I was going to do a walking tour and before I got my packages and stuff especially. And didn't get very far. Cell phone was out of battery. So I didn't end up filming that either. Got home, I thought, well, maybe I'll just do an unboxing of the packages, because it was, trying to think what it even all was. It was several of them, because I hadn't been to the post office in a while. But, well, it's still laying there. Mostly it was books, and then the 2 fountain pens, and, what was the other thing I got? I forget. Doesn't matter. But anyway, I thought, well, I never do unboxing videos, so the cell phone was charged by then. I thought, well, I'll just do this as something different. And it filmed the first 2 things that I unboxed, and then the cell phone quit filming. I don't know why. Because I have used the cell phone for filming before. I have done this with it for a few weeks when I had no camera after the predecessor of this one had its little boop lens first onto the ground. But yeah, I don't know why it quit. So, yeah. And by then I was getting frustrated. So I just thought, heck with it, I'm doing it Saturday. So it's now Saturday and this is late once again, even though I had Friday off from work. So, yeah. I just had a thought. It's getting close to noon. Or is it noon? I can't tell. It's not giving the time on there. Got a clock on my computer. Okay, never mind. It's 11:20. I am having the thought I kind of need to go to Dickinson this weekend to pick up some supplies you can only get at a big city. And, okay, not that big of a city, but stuff you can't get in my little town. But I can't do it tomorrow because of the whole, holiday thing. So I might just run up there today and maybe I can take a semi-scenic route home and evaluate the situation whether I want to approach Medora or not. If I don't approach Medora, I'll just continue on to the next exit. And there's kind of a fun drive I haven't done in a long time from Sentinel Butte south. It'll eventually lead you out in Rame, or if you make it scenic enough, you could come out in my town too. So I may do that. We'll see. Everything is so dry right now, it's not super photogenic, but yeah. And of course I'm planning a hike. Ooh, actually Sunday morning might be a good time to do that. So maybe I'll go on a hike Sunday morning. That's going to be, I was going to do a little hiking in the Medora area, but like I said, I kind of want to leave that alone. So my new plan is I want to go hiking on Slim Butte, which I've never done. I've driven past the hike a few times, but I've never hiked on it. Just have to watch out for rattlesnakes, which is another reason I want to do it early in the morning, because the warm weather we've been having and the dryness is making them kind of perky and frisky, and nobody likes a frisky rattlesnake. So that's the plan. And who knows, maybe that'll be next week's video and you'll just have to wait on Medora. I don't know. But anyway, nothing too exciting to report. I don't think I have anything at the end. No, just I'll mention that North Dakota is at a very dry spot in its climate right now. Some people actually mentioned last week when I did the slip and seal video, it could have been the converter. Yeah, I don't know. It could also be, I live in a very, very dry climate, and, their Platinum is a Japanese brand, and Japan is definitely not a very dry climate, so it could have been that. Who knows? I am curious. I know there's a couple other reviewers doing the same experiment. I haven't been able to find very many videos of people doing these experiments, so I guess it's because we hate leaving their Platinum 376s sit for 2 years without writing with them. So, anyway, now I know. I was asked if I'd consider doing the same experiment with a cartridge. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'll think about it. You can tell I'm not too keen on the whole idea. But anyway, that was fun to do. To find out anyway. And I got to do some serious pen cleaning because, wow. I guess I wasn't super surprised by the result. I thought there'd be sludge in the pen, not everything, all the water has evaporated, but whatever. So I guess, is it dry where you are? I know not all the country is, not all the world is, because one of the things I always get tired of with science fiction, especially TV shows, is they call it the world of hats. Where, oh, we're going to go to the desert planet, or oh, we're going to go to the ice planet, or oh, we're going to go to the swamp planet. And they act like that's the whole world, and it's not. The whole world is not North Dakota. So if you're an alien watching this, don't judge planet Earth by what you see on my channel. There's different kinds of spots. So anyway, I just thought I'm rambling now, and I'm perky because it's morning, and a little hungry because I got to eat. So if you hear my stomach growling at all during the video, it's because I had kind of a small breakfast, and I want to have lunch. And then after I get this edited together, I may wander up to Dickinson. I prefer to go there during the day and then get home before it gets dark, and luckily dark is quite late. At one time, I would go to a restaurant and eat out and everything, but not during the pandemic. I've got shot number 1. Shot number 2 is coming, but it's not here yet. But I may do takeout up there. Apparently the Thai restaurant is reopened, and I really like that. So I don't know what they are now, but they were takeout only at one time before they closed down for renovations. And then there's a taco place. It's a chain. I forget what it's called, but it's by the mall that I kind of like. They put all kinds of fresh ingredients in it, and that's really good too. So I don't know. And they have outdoor seating, so I could even have the restaurant experience just eating outdoors. We'll see. I have my mask, of course. Yeah, where is my mask? And no pocket in this shirt, so I will probably take along a pocket pen of some kind. There. So this mask has a British red squirrel. I've got somebody on Instagram has been sending me here. Oh, it did not autofocus. Okay, autofocus with this camera is kind of trained on my face, because that's the setting, so yeah, it didn't know what to do with a squirrel. But anyway, I've got somebody on Instagram who keeps sending me private messages that are pictures of these British red squirrels, so that's kind of fun. So anyway, I hope that was interesting. I hope something out of this was useful. And if videos like this interest you, where I talk forever about all kinds of stuff, as well as the pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week, I would invite you to subscribe. But don't ring the bell, because then you get notifications, and I find notifications, on my part, distracting and annoying, so I have them all turned off. But if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and click the bell. And then the other thing, Wow, I got off my ending script. I've got it memorized. And by going off the script, holy cow, I don't even remember what I say next. How about that? Something about comments I usually say. So feel free to leave a comment about, I don't know, wildfires, YouTube's dislike button, or what else did I babble about? Luna Restaurant, or the fact that I can't seem to manage to run a cell phone camera. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.